Oh yeah. What's up? What is up? It's early. I just woke up. Hope you guys are doing good. I got my coffee. I probably have some new people. Well, let me get my glove here. I probably have some new people that don't usually watch my lives because it's such a early time. I guess for me at least. Just want to make sure that you guys can hear me. If you can type something over there in the chat to make sure you guys can hear me, that you guys can hear me okay. I don't be talking to nothing, but I probably won't be talking that much anyways during the show. This is just fix my camera. Sorry, I just woke up really. Anyways, what this is going to be is basically me just doing my morning routine where I work in the morning. It's not going to be necessarily like my other lives. All right, good, you can hear me. It's not going to be necessarily like my other lives where it's just going to be me working. I'll do my best to answer any questions that you guys have in the chat. I can't promise everything because I'm going to be working, but I definitely will try to answer them if you've got a question. Let's see, what else? Yeah, this is just me working. You guys can be a fly on the wall. You're going to see me mess up. You're going to see me struggle. You're going to see me do all kinds of stuff. But anyways, I'll just go ahead and get started. I'm going to switch over itch my neck first. I'm going to switch my feed over to my computer monitor. See, I can't even talk yet. There we go. Now, I'm going to turn my lights off. Because I don't want the bright lights to be on my face while I'm working. So today, got to find my pen. There it is. Today I'm going to be working on the Scarecrow for Wizard of Oz. Let's see here. What's up, Black Forest Rarities? Hello, Katie. Hello, King Harakaninian. That's probably not even close. All right, so this is my base file, card file for the clubs suit for Wizard of Oz. And this is going to be the King of Clubs. I'm just going to go ahead and turn off, let's see here. Turn on my king, turn off my ace. All right, I'm going to go ahead and save this right off the bat because I don't want, if my computer crashes, Wizard of Oz, and this will be King of Clubs V1. Boom, saved. All right, so I'm going to open up the 10 man. Now you'll see that the 10 man is also the King of Clubs, but I've decided to change. I don't know why I really didn't think about it before, but I'm going to change the 10 man from the King of Clubs to the King of Hearts because obviously his whole gig was trying to get a heart. So I think it just works a little bit better. I'm just going to duplicate this image and flatten it. And then I'm just going to take a section of this drawing, copy it, and I'm going to close it. And then I'm going to come back over here. And I'm going to paste it. And the reason why I do that is sometimes when you're doing, this just helps me make sure that when I'm drawing, one thing about playing cards, especially when you're doing thematic playing cards, is that you have 15, 16 different illustrations of different characters. You have 15 or 16 different illustrations of different characters, but you want all of those characters to be the same style and look. And so what I do, the reason why I copy and paste this over is so that I can like check to make sure like line weights are the same and like colors are the same and I'm using the kind of same styles. And it just helps me kind of keep everything straight. All right. So the first thing I'm going to do is, this is a pretty noisy background. And so the first thing I'm going to do is clean some stuff up. And I'm going to make me a new layer on the background. Let's just go. And I'm going to make it a dark gray. Let's see here. And this is just going to help me knock down the noise of the background. But I still want, excuse me, I still want to be able to see the background, because if you notice, there are specific elements in the background that I need to be aware of. For instance, like this border here. Like I need to be aware of where that's at, that kind of thing. But that's just an example of what I'm talking about. But at the same time, it just helps me draw a little bit easier when I don't have all the visual distraction of everything. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn on a layer that is my die line. So you see these blue lines are the die line. And every time I take a break, it's me taking a drink of coffee. Sam Brew asks, with the subscription every month, is it a brand new deck released every month or already available? Nope. It is a brand spanking new deck every month. At least that's the plan. It's a brand new deck every month. All right. All right, let me see here. So I've got my template die line. And what you can see here is this outer blue line. This outer blue line here, that's right here, this is the actual die line of the card. That's where the card is going to be cut. And then within that, you'll see these two dotted lines here. The first one here, the inside one, is called title safe. Well, this is what I call it, just from my old experience. This is called the title safe, and the outer dotted line is called the image safe. And title safe means that refers to like text. So if I have copy, I want to keep my copy inside that dotted line. And then if I have an image, I want to keep it. If I want an image that needs to make sure it's safe, I need to put it inside this. That really doesn't matter that much. I mean, it does matter. Yes, the printer does supply me. It does. So they do supply me with this template, but I made my own template just because I want to use mine a little bit differently. The title safe and image safe are just legacy words, mainly from like video. I used to do a bunch of video editing type stuff years ago, and that's just more of a legacy. You don't really have to deal with that anymore, especially with video, because most everybody's watching video on a computer screen anyways. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just sketch. I'm just going to a really, really rough sketch, a scarecrow. But the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Pinterest, because I like Pinterest. And I'm going to look up scarecrow. Now, a lot of this stuff is going to be, obviously not usable in terms of the style. So like here's the original scarecrow. I kind of want to stay away from that because I'm definitely not doing the movie. I don't have the rights to the movie, and the movie are definitely different than the book. So I'm just going to quickly look through here. I know I'm going to have kind of a straw hat with some overalls maybe. Let me see if I can get to another picture. Let's see if this leads me to something else. So I know I'm going to have a straw hat of some sort with like some overalls and a shirt. I kind of like that. That's nice. It's different than an overalls. So maybe he has a shirt. But here's the original one. He's kind of got a bag over his head, that kind of thing. I may do the same thing because that's the way kind of the traditional scarecrow looks. This Michael Jackson scarecrow. That's awesome. All right. I think we're good. I'm feeling pretty good about this. I just want to kind of get my mind going a little bit. All right. Ooh, look at that guy. That's cool. This guy's cool. Nice. Look at this gas mask. That's awesome. All right. Let's see here. Any news on the Mistborn deck? Yeah, there's news. We're about finished. That's the news. We're about finished with it. We're going to be coming out with the Mistborn deck probably, I'm guessing, early spring. All right, so I just take a white color and I'm just going to start sketching. So, and this is just, I try to keep it really, really rough. I want to make sure, I'm trying to think about any kind of props that I want him to have. Maybe like a walking stick or something like that, because the king, you can see the Tin Man, he's got an axe. I'm actually going to do this. I'm going to duplicate this king again, and I'm just going to bring him over, because I also want to make sure that when I start drawing the scarecrow, that the scale of their body is pretty similar. So, and what I mean by that is, you know, if I didn't look at the scale of other ones, like you can see here that the Tin Man, his head's about this big. And what you want to kind of avoid, and this is just me saying things, I want to avoid having like the scarecrow heads really big or really small. That way they all kind of feel kind of coherent. So I don't necessarily have to have them in the same position either, but it's just kind of a good rule of thumb. So what I'm going to do is, what I'm thinking, I'm going to just draw a head shape here just to get me started on the size. All right, now I'm going to take this king back off. Then I'm just going to position this head in a way, I know he's going to have a hat, so I need to make sure that his head is far enough down that I have room for the hat. Let me just give it some angle here. Like that. And then, you know, I don't want him to look down. I want him to be looking up, because I want him to have a kind of a lighthearted feel. And I want his hat to be tipped up and not tipped, like, I want the bill of the hat to be tipped up and not tipped down. So I'm just going to change. I'm going to change the perspective here a wee bit. Like that. Now he got his neck coming down, but he'll have kind of like a bag, like a sackcloth over his head. And then, so have his little hat like this. And it'll come up like this, pop up at the top. Maybe he's got some, I'm not sure yet. We'll figure it out. Okay, looking good. I'm just going to draw his face a little bit differently. Actually, I want those. And then I'm going to bring it down a little bit, make me a new layer. In the story, one of his eyes one of his eyes is a little bit is bigger than the other one. Got some rope around his neck to tie the bag. And so, and this is very cartoony. This is my whole kind of style with this whole thing is very children's book illustration. Let's see, he has made, let's give him like a button nose. We'll just have to figure that out. Just putting it in there. Draw this eye. And I'm not trying to keep it, I'm trying to keep everything pretty loose. And then maybe he's got like stitches on his mouth. That might look a little weird. Make him look a little crazy. I'll have to go back and see how that looks. But I'm just kind of sketching it in here. Give me a rough placement on things. All right. Okay. How long did it take for me to get to a point to draw like this? Well, I guess that's a tough question to answer. I have been a professional artist. Well, first of all, like this is pretty rough. And I'm just kind of winging it right now. Because just like anything, even like with like, I'm not going to compare myself to an athlete at all, but I am going to compare myself to an athlete in the sense that just like with anything that you're doing, got to warm up a little bit. Like I'm really cold right now. I'm not saying cold in like as in temperature wise, but cold as in me being warmed up. And so my drawing is even worse than usually is because I haven't really warmed up. But in terms of your question, you know, I've been a professional artist for, I mean, that's all I've ever done. So, you know, 15, 20 years since I've been started like seriously drawing. 25 years, but I've been drawing since I was 2. So, I mean, that gives you a good idea. I've been drawing since I could hold a pencil. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to duplicate this head and go ahead and rotate it over. This is a pretty messy file because I have a bunch of stuff in here. I got a bunch of stuff in here that I'm not really using because this was one of my base files. So I'm just going to clean some stuff up so I'm not scrolling through as many layers. So I'm just going to grab some of this stuff and delete it. Oops. Okay, there we go. I'm just grabbing a bunch of these layers that are invisible. All right. So when I'm going to duplicate this head here. I don't know if you... I'm going to duplicate this head and I'm going to rotate it around. And what you're going to see me do is here, this is the layer for the head right here. And then at the bottom, this is just the way I work. At the bottom, I've got this other layer that's just a blank white layer. And you'll see me select this layer of the head and then select this layer of this white layer. And then I'll rotate it. What that does is it allows me to rotate It allows me to rotate the drawing, but do it in a way that mirrors it from other side. And what I'm saying is, if I did not select this that bottom white layer, and then I tried to rotate the head, it would just rotate in place, and that wouldn't be what I want to do to rotate the reflected image. And so this is just a trick I learned years ago. I mean, it's not very complicated, but it's just me making a dummy layer at the bottom that I can select and then rotate the whole thing. And the dummy layer is the size of the canvas. So that's what allows me to, you know, grab the whole thing and make it reflected. So I can already tell that what I'm probably going to do now is, and I duplicate the head. That way, when I start drawing the body and the hands and his walking staff, like I'm thinking about giving him, it just gives me kind of like a target to shoot for when I'm drawing the body. And so what I'm going to do now is rough in I'm going to go back to this layer here, and I'm just going to rough in, I'm going to rough in the body. So I know, let's see, I'm going to draw his torso. Let's just do his, and don't ever think, you know, if you're like an aspiring artist or whatever, don't ever think that you've got to get it right the first time, or that it's got to be perfect and really detailed. Because like you'll see me here, like I'm just gonna draw like a little stick figure almost, just to get an idea of the his anatomy. And so I'm gonna got his torso here. It also helps me kind of figure out the depth or like the perspective and stuff. So I got his torso here, and I kind of want to think like, you know, like I can imagine him like strutting down the yellow brick road, you know. He's strutting down, and he's got like one leg up like this, and he's got this other leg back, and he's just like walking down the yellow brick road. So that's kind of like the attitude that I want to give him. And so I'm going to have this arm come down here, and like I'm going to be like in front of his body, almost like he's like walking and he's like strutting, and then here's his wrist and his hand right there, like that. Now I do have to watch that anytime I get to this center point, that once I reflect it, it's going to reflect around. So I kind of have to be mindful of that. So I'm going to bring this arm a little bit different. I'm going to bring it down here just a little bit, and then bring, actually I'm going to have the wrist go down like that. And then just thumb, whatever, something like that. And then for this arm, I'm going to have the arm come over this way, elbow here, and then I want it to come up like this. And then the wrist, and then I'm kind of trying to think about it. I always think that hands, at least for me, hands are one of the hardest things for me to draw for some reason. So I'll have his hand here. I'm going to have to change that. And then what I'm thinking is from here, he'll have a staff, and then the staff will come all the way down into the other picture. So what I'm going to do is, now that I've got this base drawing here like this, I'm going to go ahead and duplicate that over. Just make sure everything is what I want. So I'm going to take this drawing here, and take this drawing here. I'm going to rotate it over. And so you can kind of already see how it's going to look. And so the issues that I can already see a little bit is, let me just delete this. Let me delete one of these. So I'm going to go ahead and rough in a walking stick like this. So we'll just say that this is his walking stick right here. All right. Make a little twig on it or something. So say that's his walking stick. I'm going to go ahead and save it. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and duplicate it, and I'll kind of show you some of the issues that I can already see that we're going to have to address. All right. So the only issue I see a little bit is this hand, and I'll mark it in red so you guys can see it. This area right here, where you've got the intersection of his staff, his arm, and his hand, that might get a little busy. So I may want to kind of fix that a little bit. And the way I'm going to fix that is, now that I've got the image duplicated, I can come in here with this rough drawing. I can select
his forearm, and I'm just going to rotate it at the elbow up a little bit. Well, I say I'm going to rotate it at the elbow. Now, I just hit Alt. I hold down Alt. I'm on a PC, so those are the kind of hotkeys I'm going to say. But normally, if you rotate an image, the rotation point's in the middle. But if you hold down Alt and drag, you can put the rotation point wherever you want. And so I put it at the elbow so I can rotate it at the elbow. And so what I'm doing now is I'm just trying to move the hand into a spot where it's got room. So you can see now that in comparison, this, I'll just rotate the image around so you can see. This part right here, where it's not rotated, is kind of very jumbled. So you got the intersection of all these things. You got the intersection of his hand, his arm. But now that I've rotated the arm a little bit, you can see that you've got the staff, his arm, and then you've got room. Now I've got room for his hand to kind of be there, and it's far enough away from the intersection in the middle that it won't mess up when I rotate it. So now that I've got that hand changed, I can go to this bottom layer, delete it, grab this new layer, the new layer that I adjusted the hand, and do that same thing where I rotate the drawing. And so now you can see that it's looking better like this. You've got room in the hand. Now, one other issue that I'm gonna now what I'm gonna do now is the other issue that I want to fix is his torso. If you look at the Tin Man, you can see that his torso, comes together basically right here. This big cylinder that comes together. But if we look at the Scarecrow here, it's obviously not coming together. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to just adjust. Oops. I'm just going to kind of skew it a little bit to see if I can fix it before I try to redraw anything, because I really like the image that we have now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this. Let's see if I just come over here. Let me see. Okay. I need to attach his head to the drawing. Okay, got that attached. And I need to attach this head to this body. And what I'm doing first is I'm just going to nudge it over with my arrow key. But I need to make sure I do the same amount. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on that one. Then I'm going to go to the bottom one and go the opposite direction 6 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, so I still need to go a little bit further. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 4 is good. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, I've got it matched up where the torso can come together, and then that means I can put like a belt or a rope or something in the middle at the end. Now what I'm going to do is get these 2 layers. I'm just going to rotate both of these a little bit, just ever so slightly, to kind of straighten them up a little bit. But you know what? I really liked the fact that he's kind of leaning back. I may even want to do that some more. Go the opposite direction, because it almost gives him a feel of like, he's leaning back. He's walking down the yellow brick road. So yeah. Do I ever use the symmetry option in Photoshop? Yes, all the time. That's a relatively new feature in Photoshop. I love it. I can't really use it here because this is not really symmetry. This is a reflected and flipped image. So one thing I want to do now is I'm going to take this bottom drawing and delete it. I kind of want to take his head, he's looking, oops. Let Just make a new layer so I can draw. Right now, his head is like this, and his eyesight is going out this way. I'm just going to see what it looks like if I flip his head and get him looking this way, looking the opposite direction, like he's looking down the yellow brick road where he's walking. It doesn't mean I'm going to keep it. I just want to see what it looks like, because that's one thing. That's just one thing that I'm feeling right now. So I'm going to, excuse me, excuse me, don't mean to cough right in the microphone. So I just duplicated the image of the drawing, just so if I don't like what I'm about to do, I can go back and change it. I'm just going to take his head. This may or may not work. I'm going to take his head. I'm going to cut it, paste it, and then I'm just going to flip it horizontally. Bonk. Now, I need to bring it up a little bit, like that. And then I can go back. So, I thought I duplicated it. Yeah. What I can do now is look at this and just kind of see the differences. Actually, there's a part of me that doesn't, I kind of like the original just because it's a little bit more dynamic, a little bit. Because if you look at this, but I probably should, what I should do is duplicate them both to get a good picture of what it's going to look like. So I'm going to duplicate the drawing, and I'm going to rotate it over like that. And let's see here. So with this one, it's all right. There's something a little bit weird about it. Can't quite, but so we got, he got his eyesight coming in here, and then it flows down this way. Then you flow back this way, out his eyesight, and then you flow down the staff, and you kind of come back in this way. It's not bad. The flow is not bad, but there's something about it that I don't like for some reason. So I'm going to come back, and I'm going to turn on. I got to find it first. There we go. Turn this one on, duplicate it. All right. So I think I like this one. I like this one, actually, for some reason. It's a little bit more dynamic. It gives a little bit more motion because he's looking in a different direction. I kind of like that now. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to move the staff, the walking stick. I'm going to move the walking stick a smidge to where it kind of ends up right in this open spot there. Yeah. Just so it's, because you can see here, what I may do is actually, you see how like you have this distance here from the staff to the K, and then you've got the distance from the staff to his head. I may try to split that to where the staff kind of ends up in the middle. And so just to give a little bit more visual pleasingness. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to come in here and take this staff like this. I'm going to cut it, paste it. What do I use? Neural asks, what do I use to do drawings? A Wacom tablet. Yes, it's a Wacom Cintiq tablet, where it's like a monitor tablet. So what I need to do first is take and duplicate the drawing. I'm doing a lot of repeated stuff here, but it's just me working through it. So I'm going to take the drawing, duplicate it again. Now I'm going to take the staff. I'm going to rotate it. Make sure I've got it selected here. Okay, Control T. Now I'm going to hold down Alt and drag my rotation point right to his hand. And then now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to rotate the staff right in the middle. So now the staff is bisecting the distance between his hat and the K. And so now you can see, just to make sure that this distance here is about equal distance right there. So that's kind of what I was going for. All right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate the staff and rotate it over. Like a these. Rotate it over like a these. All right. Now, I'm feeling pretty good about that. Now let's just add a little icing on him. I'm going to put like a little scarf because I feel like that would be nice. And also I want to add something else into this kind of negative space just to give it some. Actually, I don't want to do that because that would give what I was thinking was for me to add like a scarf where he's got a scarf here and it's kind of blowing in the wind here. But if I do that, then that's kind of going opposite of the direction he's walking. And I don't necessarily want to do that. What I'll probably end up doing is I'll probably end up having like straw and stuff coming out of his shoulder to kind of fill up that space. So that's what we'll do. All right, I'm feeling good about this. I'm going to take 2 seconds and pour myself some more coffee. Don't leave. And we're back. I did give myself some more coffee. What's up, Adrian? Good morning. So I'm feeling good about this drawing. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to merge these drawing layers so that I've got just one big line drawing. Oop. And the staff. Bonk. So now I've got the drawing all in one layer. And then now I can adjust it just a little bit if I want to. Just play with it. Let's see here. Now, obviously this is super rough. And so what I'm going to do now is take a drink of coffee. And then basically the way I work is just rough. I just work rough to tight. I just get tighter and tighter every round. But I've done these types of drawings with this style enough that I know that my next round of drawings will be pretty close. If not, they'll be much tighter. And I'll probably have 3 phases, like 3 levels. Like if this is level 1, like super rough, I'll have a level 2 that's like a more thought out rough draft where I'll start putting in details. And then the final one will be me actually doing the final line work. So I just made the layer a little bit less opaque, and then I'm just going to go in here now with the black line just so I can kind of see it. And then I'm just going to start somewhere, and I'm just going to start doing the details. I'm just going to start roughing in stuff. So I'm going to put a rope. Let's see here. And this will just be me kind of working haphazardly. Let's see. I'm going to draw a little axe. I'm going to draw an ellipse here. Have the bill turned up a little bit like this. This button nose here. Not quite sure how I want to do his eyes yet, so I'm just going to kind of draw just something in there. Maybe he's got some stitches for his eyes. And then, let's see here. This little cheek up. Give him an idea like he's smiling. A really big smile. And then, I don't know about the stitches. The stitches could look really kind of creepy. So, I don't know. I just don't know about the stitches. And we're going to show some teeth. Maybe he's got some like wooden teeth. Hey, guys. Big old smile. All right. I don't know about that. We'll see. Maybe he's got like a little button on his chin. Wonder what his ear would be like. Maybe he doesn't have an ear. Well, I'm going to have all the straw coming out, so I can kind of draw that. Yeah, I don't know. I like the stitches too. I think that if I put a mouth on him with teeth, it's a little bit too anthropomorphic. So let me see if I can make it to where the stitches work. Oh yeah, I like that smile. Already I like that smile a lot better. Yeah, that's much better. I like that a lot. Let's do the stitches. That doesn't bother me. That'll be good. All right, we've got the straw coming out like this. I'll go back and draw that straw a little bit. Let's draw a little, like a little strap or something that's around the border of his hat. And then you got the straw. I'm gonna have to fix this because I don't want it going off the card. So I'm gonna go back and make this a wee bit smaller, or the top of his hat a little bit shorter, just so I can have room to draw the straw in there and it not go off the page or the card. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and Control S because you always want to save, my friends. You always want to save. All right. So now this will be like the ruffle of his little sackcloth that is his head. Right there. Thanks, Adrian. I hope you have a good day at work. Sorry you can't stay longer, but I appreciate the kind words. All right, so, and as I'm drawing, I just will occasionally take the drawing, duplicate it, and rotate it around just so I can see the drawing coming together, and just so I can see that everything is fitting together. I don't know if that makes sense. So I think I'm going to give him some overalls only because it'll be nice it'll just be a nice layer, and it'll be easier for me to connect the drawings. So let's just let me get some reference images. Let's see. Go to Pinterest. You can see that I've been looking at scarecrows. Let's see. That's a good one. I just want to look at the overalls for some reference. All right, so I just got this pulled over here on my other screen. All right, let's do this. So I'm going to go back to my layer. And then I'm just going to draw the overalls in. And I'm trying to be mindful of the fact that I have to meet up the middle. I'm going to draw these buttons here oversized just so you can really see them. Some stitching there. Like that. And then maybe, let's see here. Then you got your little buckle. Really exaggerate the scale of this buckle. Sort of look really nice once we get it in there and pop. Kind of drew that one off to the side. Just pull it over there. Make it a little bit bigger. Okay. Make sure I'm on the same layer. Yep. And then I can draw, let's see, you can draw the strap kind of coming back this way. And then this one kind of coming over this way. All right, so I got his overalls. Now, let's draw his shoulder. So maybe it's like a long sleeve shirt. I'm going to draw that in. Just draw some simple wrinkles. And then I'm going to draw the seam starting to rip of the shirt. Like this. Have some straw coming out like this. Then there's the seam of the shirt. And then we'll go ahead and have, let's see, we'll have his, let's draw the cuff of the shirt. Nice big button, exaggerated button. I'm going to do this more of kind of a trumpet shape just to give a little bit more character. So I want to make the opening of the cuff a little bit bigger. There's the cuff button. Like that. And then I'm going to make it kind of a trumpet shape like this. Just to give a little bit more character. And then his elbow. Maybe we'll put like a patch over the elbow. What I should do is draw the arm first because I'm just trying to guess here and it's not feeling good. All right, I'm just going to draw a basic arm. So I got his wrist in here. It's the worst arm I've ever seen in my entire life. All right, I'm going to go back. I'll put the patch in after I'm finished. What the heck, Jackson? Why can't you draw cloth? Like I said, it's early. Still getting warmed up. There we go. But I want to make sure I keep it pretty skinny and lanky because he is a scarecrow. All right, I'm feeling that. I like that. I like how his forearm is thicker than his bicep and stuff. That kind of gives him a really kind of fragile look. All right. I'm going to take that drawing here to go ahead and delete it. I'm going to go ahead and save. So if it crashes. All right. I'm going to draw his hand. you're going to see me struggle with this hand because I hate drawing hands, because for some reason hands are super hard for me to draw. So I'm going to procrastinate a little bit and draw some straw coming out. What I actually might do is, I may take a picture of myself. So let me see here. And I just want to show you the process. I hope I can do this. Let's see here.
All right, here's me. I'm just going to open up my snippet tool. Where are you at? Okay, got it. All right, so I need to get something. All right, 1 second. I'm going to get a little prop, and you're going to get to see my pajamas. So I think at any time that you can get, anytime you can take photo reference is good. So I'm just getting something. I'm looking. I know you can't see it, but what I'm looking at is I'm looking at the angle of his hand, and I'm just going to try to match. I want to get my hand in a way that I like. So I'm just kind of like looking at the angle of his hand, and I'm going to just try to get something that I like, and I'm going to try to do this. I need to put this, I'm going to do it with this hand, just so I can use my other hand for the mouse. So I'm going to look at the hand here on my camera, get kind of an angle that works for what I need. And this is me just looking at it and getting something that I like in terms of my hand, how my hand is positioned, something that's kind of dynamic. Let's see. I feel like that's pretty good. I'm going to bring it up a little bit. Now I'm just going to take we'll see how this works. I'm going to take my screen capture tool and capture that. And so now what I've got, we'll see how that works. So I'll go back to
this. Put my prop down. You like my swords? I like swords too. All right, so I've got my little image. Look at that handsome devil. Look at that handsome devil. So I'm just going to copy. Where'd my glove go? Put my glove back on here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to I'm going to copy this image. I'm going to paste it in here. Now, some people say, hey, that's cheating. You can't do that. You can't draw over a picture. And I'm going to say, that's stupid. Any artist, like I said before, like if you have an opportunity to take photo reference, now you shouldn't like take other people's images and copy them. But if you have the opportunity to take photo reference of something, especially if it's like human anatomy, it is always beneficial to take photo reference. Now you can see my wrist is a little bit, I got the angle of the staff wrong, so I'm just going to angle the staff the way I want and kind of put it in there like that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. I'm going to make it a little bit oversized. Bring down the opacity just so I can see the drawing. Okay, put it right there. Feels good. I'm just going to skew it a little bit to line up that staff a little bit better. All right. All right. Now, what I've got now is I've got a base hand that I like that I can now draw over if I don't move it. So what I can do now is but you'll notice that I'm not just drawing, directly over the hand. I'm just going to use it as kind of, I need to bring it down a little bit into the sleeve. right about there. So I'm just going to use it as kind of a guide, but you're going to notice that this is not, I'm just going to use this as a guide. Now, I don't know how I'm going to do his hands just yet. I need to think through that a little bit more. I drew his index finger way too big. Let me go back. I could just erase. It'd be easier. I don't know. I don't know how I'm going to do the hand, because obviously I guess he would, if he has a hand, it would need to be that he has like leather gloves on. So I need to think about that. I'm just exaggerating the knuckles and stuff because I did something very similar. Maybe he has his pinky out like that because he's fancy. Or not. Let me see here. Like I said, I hate drawing hands. They're so hard for me for some reason. All right. I'll just leave that. Looks weird, but it'll turn out. Oh, see, I hate drawing hands. I just look at them and go, oh. All right. All right. So I'm going to take the line, the photo, just bring it back a little bit. Let me just draw. So I'm going to draw some straw coming in here like this. The straw is good too because it can help me hide the hand a little bit. All right. So we'll have that straw coming in there like that. Itch my nose. Turn off that drawing. Control S to save. Take a drink of coffee. All right. So now what I'm going to do is going to start on the other. Come on. Catch up with me, computer. Oh, something's wrong. Yes. I'll make the gloves look dirty. It doesn't look like I'm going to do anything, though. Let's see. For some reason, my tablet is not responding. Uh-oh. 1 second.
See, this is why you save, because my Photoshop has crashed. So I'm just going to open it back up. Make sure I'm good to go here. The layer that you're trying to draw on is hidden. Okay, we're back.
Always the reason why you want to save. All right, let's do this, peeps. All right, so now I've got this other, excuse me, I've got the arm here for reference now. So I'm just going to come in here and draw the second arm in a similar fashion. Draw the ripped seam. Draw the skinny bicep. Draw the wrinkles in the clothes here. Draw his forearm, his cuff, his pointy little elbow. Bring the cuff back a wee bit. There's the cuff, trumpet, the trumpet shape for the cuff link itself. And then, you know, I go back. I'll go back what I said. This for some reason, this angle of the hand, where it's kind of like,
where the hand is kind of like rotated like this, where you can see the back of it. It's this specific pose that I always have a hard time drawing, I think.
now, and the opposite, this pose, where this hand is, I always seem to have an easy time drawing this pose because it's super easy. It's like you basically have a trapezoid or a square, rectangle trapezoid shape. Then you've got the knuckles here. Then you got the thumb that comes off like that. And then you've got the fingers. It's, for some reason, it's way easier to draw. So, all right. So we got the glove inside here. It comes up to the knuckles. Exaggerate the knuckles a little bit. Side of the hand. There's his thumb. Comes out. Let me see. Maybe we'll just raise the index finger up like this to where maybe the index finger comes. I don't want to do that. That may be a little bit weird. The index finger's raised a little bit like that. And then these. There we go. All right, let me just fix this cuff a little bit so it goes around. And then you'll have the straw coming out like this to hide my crappy drawing. All right, yes. Some straw coming out of the shoulder like that, feeling good. Okay, what time is it? 6. So we're an hour into this. I'm feeling really good about it. I really like the drawing. All right. So what I'm going to do now is, like I said before, I like to occasionally take the drawing and duplicate it. So I'm going to duplicate the drawing. I'm going to reflect it over. Yes. Very nice. I like that. I like what the fingers are doing together in the middle. What I might want to do just to create more interesting composition, I may try to move the hand to where I guess it's hard to explain, but where the fingers are opposite. Let me just do it. Okay. So everybody look at this. Take a snapshot with your brain, how these two hands look coming together in the middle. What I'm going to do is delete the drawing, and I'm going to take the arm and the hand. I'm going to cut it. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to scale it up a bit like that. And then I'm going to try to skew it just like that. Now you'll see what I did is I'll just get some red here so I can mark it. You can see here that this is this center line here is the intersection point of the middle of the card. Because I put the finger on this side of that line, you'll notice now that when I take this drawing, you'll see now that when I take this drawing and duplicate it like I did before, that the fingers now kind of cross and create kind of like this, this meeting point. Because before the fingers stopped and there was like this break, there was a break in the fingers. But now that I've got this continuous line where almost these fingers are touching, which I need to fix. I don't want them to like touch like Michelangelo's Sistine Chapel or whatever creation. I don't want to do that. But what this does is it creates a nice continuous flow from one drawing to the other. And that's what I like, and that's what I want to keep. So I'm just going to come in here, and I'm just going to draw this finger a little bit different, like this, to where it's not touching that hand, so it doesn't make this weird tangent. Now I can just delete it, the bottom one, and then I can take this, Control J to duplicate the layer, and then rotate it around like that. And so now you've got this nice, you know, you got this nice kind of this other little shape in here that it's creating just for more dynamic. All right, so now I'm going to draw his walking stick. Let me see here. Control save, Control save. All right, make a new layer, and let's see here. All right, so what I'm going to do first, I've got the drawing in there as my guide, and so now I'm just going to kind of draw in a walking stick. So, and it can kind of be anything. It's just going to be like a big stick. I'm going to draw the kind of overall shape, give it a little twist like this. Am I on that layer? No. Give it a little limb right here in this open spot. Continue that twist. Nice little spiral twist to it. And then the end. John asks, whenever you copy a layer, you go to the bottom layer before rotating. That's a great question. It's good. I'm glad that you saw that. I mentioned that earlier in the show, but that's okay. I will mention it again. The reason why I do that is I have learned through, you know, just drawing playing cards for drawing a lot of playing cards. If I were to take, so like let's take this staff for example. If I were to duplicate this staff to get it to the other side of the card and then just hit Control T or Command T if you're on a Mac to rotate it, if I were to do that just grabbing the layer, then I would just rotate the staff in place. I would rotate the staff in place, and that's not what I want. The reason why you saw me go to the bottom is because at the bottom I've got a dummy layer that's basically a layer that's just filled with white, the size of the canvas. And that allows me to, what it allows me to do is I can then go in, take the drawing that I want to rotate, take that layer, select it, and then go to that dummy layer, Control select it as well, and then hit Control T. And you'll notice my bounding box is the size of the canvas. So now that I've got that back layer selected and the staff drawing layer, and now when I go to rotate it, it rotates it symmetrically. Well, not really symmetrically. It rotates it where it's a reflection. And so then once I rotate 100 degrees, it puts that staff in the right spot. And so that's what that dummy layer is for. Now, this is total happenstance and coincidence. I was not planning on this. I was not planning on this at all. But this is kind of one of those things that worked out really well just in terms of composition. Look at this. This is going to be great. Well, these are the types of things that myself as a playing card designer are excited about. Notice how his staff comes down here in front of his arm here, so I can then take this part of the drawing, take this part of his arm, so the staff is in front of that part of the drawing. But look at this. This is the great part. See how the staff comes under, right at the crook of his other arm on the other side. And the reason why I'm excited about that is I can do this. I can take the staff, erase it there to where it goes behind the arm, and then it almost like comes up through the arm in that crook. And so I can erase that area. And so look at that. It just gives it more depth and a dynamic feel to where what it does is it makes the top drawing interact with the bottom drawing. Totally not planning it, but it's definitely something I'm going to take advantage of. Now, I could have planned that for sure, but I just didn't do it. But I think it's a great example of how something that not necessarily was planned ends up being super awesome. So what I'm going to do now is just repeat that here on the bottom drawing. So it's going to go in front of the arm there, and then for here, it's going to go behind the arm there, and then it will go in front of the arm there. And so that just gives it a little bit, just more interaction. All right, I'm feeling really good about this guy. I really like him. Let me just get all my drawings and merge them together. I'm going to go ahead and delete that white initial sketch. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to keep it just, let me see here. All right, I'm going to go ahead and delete it. So I've got the basis, Control S to save. Now I'm just gonna mess with it a little bit to see if I can get a little bit of placement. Just mess with the placement and the angle, just to see if there's something else I like better. All right, let's see here. I just kind of rotated a little bit. You see there's the original. Just kind of puts him a little bit more upright. But, you know, I like that. I like that he's leaning back. It's amazing that so many times, usually, and I think a lot of it's experience, but so many times the just the decisions that I make, I usually end up going, I would say 90% of the time, I usually end up going with my first inclination, usually. All right, so like I said earlier, I kind of work in layers. Well, I work in stages. The initial drawing was super rough. This second drawing is a little bit tighter. And then this third drawing is what would be, this third drawing is going to be what is the final line work of the drawing. So I just brought down the opacity of my sketch. I'm going to go on top again. And then I'm going to start drawing the final line work. All right. So this is going to go a little bit slower, only because I am now drawing the final line work, I guess you could say. And this is probably also where I will get a little bit more quiet, because I'm actually having to think a little bit more. Not really sure what his eyes are, but that's okay. This is all make-believe. Anyways, I do like his eyebrows being like stitches. See, Adrian, thanks for coming. All right. I'm going to plump up his cheeks a little bit to give him kind of more of a jovial look instead of a Skeletor look. Do I use a similar method when I'm drawing on paper? Yes, actually I do. You know, I'll take like layout paper and draw a rough sketch, and then put another layer on top, another piece of paper on top, and then kind of go from there. So yes. All right, so I'm gonna draw the rope around his neck. Now I know this could be. Don't think noose. It's not a noose. Relax. Just gonna draw some rope around his neck. But I don't want anybody give me any grief. He's got a rope around his neck or anything like that. Maybe just be that, and that's it. Okay. I'm gonna take the opacity down of this dye line layer. It's distracting me. All right, so I'm gonna draw the edge. There we go. The bottom edge of the bag or the sackcloth, what have you. Like that. Draw some wrinkles coming in, compression wrinkles right there, coming in from under the rope. Fix this. Put a little button right there on his chin, because why not? All right, looking good. Let's draw some of this straw coming out. Like that. Let's draw this straw coming out here. Now let's draw the bottom portion of the hat. Draw the back of the hat here. Oops, changed colors. Okay. Little tear in the hat there. Yes, yes, I like this. I like this a lot. Looking good. Looking good. I like it. I'm liking it. All right, let's draw this little band or something that's on his hat. And then the top of his hat kind of ripped open. And then the straw coming out of the top of the hat. I may have to redo this because it's so close to the edge of the card. That's okay. I can always go back. Looking good. I like it. All right, let's see here. Okay. Just erase this part. Draw this buckle. And the little button that goes with it. Kind of screwed these little lines up. I'm just going to make those solid lines like this because I'm lazy. All right, draw the other one here. Man, when I was a kid, remember that show, The Wiz? The musical with Michael Jackson, Diana Ross. Was it Diana Ross? Yeah, it was Diana Ross. I used to love and hate that show. There are some things in that movie that were just freaked me out when I was a kid. Like the subway scene where the trash cans come to life. It freaked me out. I keep thinking about that. He's on down the road. All right. Okay. Just draw a little bit of straw coming out here. All right, now let's draw the seam of his shirt like this. It's kind of ripping. Draw some wrinkles. I need some new coffee here in a little bit. Maybe got a few stitches on the sleeve, keeping the sleeve together. I'll go back. Excuse me. I'll go back and draw some straw in the sleeve in a little bit. Draw the corner of the overalls. Come back through here. Like that. Okay. Let's draw a little seam or a hem, whatever you want to call it, on the overalls. What do they got? A little pocket here, right? They got a little pocket. I had me a pair of overalls when I was a kid. Some stuff. I don't know what that is. Little pocket. Control S to save. All right, let's draw the other sleeve over here. And then the other one back in there. Then it comes up like this. You should totally start drawing again, Black Forest. Totally start drawing. It's not going to hurt anything. It's better than watching TV. Better for your brain. All right. I'm just going to go ahead and draw through the staff because I can go back and correct once I get the staff in there. I'm going to open up his elbow. Maybe put a little stick or something in there with some straw coming out. Maybe we'll put a patch on the other one. Exaggerate the seam of the cuff. Some wrinkles. There we go. Let's draw the cuff. cuff link. Okay. I'm going to make a new layer to draw his hand. I'm going to bring this opacity down a little bit just so I can see it. Okay. Not quite that much. Okay. Now I'm going to draw this hand. Like that. Draw some of that glove. Draw the side seam of the leather. That knuckle. The pinky. The fat part of the hand. I don't know why I'm narrating everything I'm drawing. I apologize. Okay. Little Mickey Mouse lines. I call them Mickey Mouse lines. On the back of the glove. Exaggerate some of the angles a little bit. Give a little bit more character. And you'll see me in a little bit when I'm finished with the line drawing. I'll go back and beef up the holding line on the outside a little bit. That's all going to be erased. Okay. All right, get that. Merge it. Draw the rest of this little glove. The straw going into the sleeve. Okay, Control S. All right, feeling really good. I like this. Like it a lot. I gotta stretch a little bit. All right, let's do this other hand. Oh, how I hate hands. All right, let's draw the wrinkles. Let's put a patch on his elbow. Little patch on his elbow there. Come in, exaggerate the seam on the cuff. There we go. Draw that cuff link. There we go. Draw. But I can draw feet. That's funny. Yeah, feet are easier for me than hands. I think hands are the hardest anatomical thing. And it's different with different artists. Okay. Let's see here. Go ahead and draw. I'm going to get cocky here and not make a new layer. Just do it. Just going to go for it. Draw me the straw in here. I'm going to draw more straw on this hand because I hate this angle of the hand. And I'm going to cover up the hand here so I have less hand to draw. But you guys aren't going to tell anybody. All right. Let's see here. Draw the knuckle. Exaggerate the... I'm going to make this a little bit more cartoony a little bit. just going to thin out his fingers a little bit because I use my fat fingers as reference. My stomach's growling. Need to feed the beast here. Let's see here, okay? This is why I hate hands. I hate hands. All right. We're going to sweep it under the rug for right now, and I'll fix it a little bit. Let me see here. Let's just fix this. All right, let's draw the staff here. I need me some guacamole toast. Yeah. That's what I'm going to have for breakfast, actually. Now I'm putting kind of like the spiral twist to the staff, so that you'll see me drawing that. Make this a new layer because I'm going to be erasing the underdrawing. A little branch or something. All right. All right, feeling good about that. All right, I'm going to take that bottom layer drawing, make it invisible. I'm going to go in here and erase this portion. Like that. All right. So, really feel good about that. I like the way it's looking. I'm going to take all my drawing layers. Let me find them. I think it's these two. Yes, that's it. Duplicate, reflect, rotate them around. All right. Yes. So now, what I'm going to do now is just clean this part up right here. Erase this section where it goes in front of the arm. Okay. Oops. Good. We delete this bottom drawing. Duplicate it once again now that I've fixed that little arm part. Okay. Now, the last part, I just need to draw the rest of these overalls and just connect them. So I'm just going to take this and draw a little line here going in behind the hand. And that probably is all I need to do. Now, now what I'm going to do is just draw some extra filling in the straw. Control S. Yes, Control S. Bring the opacity down a little bit. Make a new layer. Then I'm just going to draw some straw down in here. Like that. Go in here, erase some of this stuff. Right there. That looks good. Okay. Delete this bottom one. And you're seeing me delete it just because as I'm adding details, I just want to make sure that both sides are the same. And trust me, I have forgotten to do that, and my side's not been the same. All right, so feeling good about that. I see one little tangent right here. I'm going to erase that piece of straw because it's touching the elbow, and I don't like that. Come over here and do the same. Okay. Yes, 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 yes. Feeling really good about that. Really like it. I like the dynamic pose. I'm just kind of looking over it before I start coloring it. A little stretch. I'm just seeing. All right, I'm going to go back. I'm going to Control S. I'm going to open up my I'm going to open up my Tin Man drawing just so I have reference. I just want to make sure how I did some of the holding lines. Okay. All right. That's all I needed to know. I'm just looking. I want to just tighten up some of the line widths. I want to draw a little bit thicker line over here. Kind of finish this up a little bit. Thicken this line up a little bit, just a little bit. Just to make sure that it's feeling substantial enough. Also want to thicken this up a little bit to really make that walking stick feel like it's in front of his arm. I'm just going through and just thicken this line up, this outer, I call it a holding line, whatever. Call it whatever you'd like. It'll make his arm and the staff pop a little bit better. Especially this line here. Really make sure that it really pops off the card. And this back edge of his chin right in here. This part of his arm. His glove. I think that's going to be good. Let's see how that looks. Control S. All right. Let me just make sure I got on one layer. I do. it does make it seem more forward. That's exactly what it does. When you thicken up a holding line, or the outermost edge of a figure or a form, and you leave the inner lines not as thick, it brings it forward a little bit, just visually. All right, so I feel good about that. I'm going to Control Save. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start coloring. I'm going to make sure I've got my color palette up here that I've been using for this deck. What time is it? 6:40. Not too bad. Hour and 40 minutes in. A little stretch. All right. So when I start coloring, what I'm going to do is basically just like that's one of the reasons why I love this style, this black line, and then it's basically like coloring a coloring book. So what you're going to see me do first is I'm basically going to rough in the base colors that I want everything, and then once I get the base colors, then I'll start putting in the shading and stuff like that. So I'm just going to blast through this. And get it going. Make sure that it's underneath my line drawing. There we go. One thing I'm realizing is, because I don't want to break any copyright laws, is I don't have any music playing, and I usually always have music playing, but that's okay. And what I'm doing here is just roughing in a base color for each of the different materials and textures that I'm going to be using. And that just helps me kind of separate, what kind of textures, materials, this is fabric, this is metal, this is denim, this is whatever, straw, that kind of thing. All right, let's see here. Let's get us a color for the rope. Let's do like an olive green, kind of a desaturated olive green. Well, maybe not olive green because the whole background's green. Let's do like a light desaturated, blue. Let's get a denim blue. That might be too light. Let's go right about there for the overalls. I'm back in, Adrian says. All right. Okay. Let's do like a brass, kind of a brass color for the buckles. Go ahead and make his buttons the same. Actually, no, we're not going to do that. We'll make those different. All right, let's do the straw hat somewhere around there. Gonna have to make a little bit more yellow to differentiate it from that color we're going to use for his burlap sack face. So make it a little bit more yellow. Just going around and doing the outline. I mean, basically just like coloring in a coloring book. I won't worry about the straw at this point because I can just paint over it. I'll go back and paint the straw color on top of this layer. All right, looking good. Fill this all in. Let's do a red for the band. Right about there. Wait, let me see. That's CMYK safe. Good. Let's do a red button for his nose. Let's do like a blue, a real nice saturated blue. Let's see, right about there. Let's try that. Maybe these are buttons too. I don't like that. Looks like a clown. I don't like clowns. Let's go for a brown. Yeah, that's better. All right. And then we'll do let's do a dark green for that button. And he's going to get a lot of does that program save those exact colors for that particular image? I mean, it saves them in terms of, like, you can see over here, I've got this color palette that I use. But I kind of have an idea of, I'm not using really saturated colors. And so I just kind of establish some basic rules for myself. And I just try to follow those rules when it comes to the colors. I don't know if that makes sense. I'm going to make a new layer. Let's do kind of a bright yellow, a straw yellow. Ha 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 ha. And then I'll come in here and hit these blades of straw or hay, whatever you want to call it. And with this style, I mean, there's parts that are like, it's kind of rough and messy. And that's the way I like it. I don't want it to be perfect. I want it to feel like somebody drew it with their hands. So, there's some inconsistencies and things that aren't right, perfect, and that's okay. Just going to leave them in there. And most of the time, 99% of the time, you won't even see them because, you know, we're zoomed in really, really far into this card. And even like these parts that I'm working on now are super small in comparison to like how big they will be in the final image printed on a card that's 3 inches, 3 inches tall. All right, let's see here. Control S. I'm going to save. I'm just going to do more of this straw while I've got the color selected. Just fix that little blip. I didn't erase it. Go to this other side and do it. Okay. Thanks, Enzo. Okay. Looks like all the straw. What? Forgot some right here. Let's just fix this. All right. Go over here. Fix it on this elbow. All right. And paint this straw color. Good. All right, let's do a leather, kind of a leather brown for the gloves. Actually, make sure these are on a different layer. What kind of music do I listen to? I honestly like I like instrumental music. I like cinematic stuff. I like video game soundtracks. Just your basic nerdy kind of music. I don't like listening to a lot of. I think when I was younger, I used to listen to a lot of heavier stuff. Heavy metal, stuff like that. But just because I'm sitting working for 8 hours or more, every day, sitting at my computer, listening to music. I love Hans Zimmer. He's awesome. Interstellar is my favorite movie. I just find that listening to, not that it's listening to easy listening or whatever, something like that, but just listen to stuff that doesn't have lyrics. I don't have to get distracted. It's easy on my ears for a long period of time. It's not giving me a headache. It's not making me anxious or, that kind of thing. I like John Williams for sure. I like Hans Zimmer a lot. Uh, let's see, what have I been listening to lately? I have been listening to kind of an electronic artist named Lorn, Lorn. I really like him. I like kind of dark, brooding stuff. I like that. All right, let's do. Let's see, a brown. I don't even know who PDO is. I'm sorry. I'm probably just dating myself or something. I don't know who PDO is. I probably do, but I just don't know what that is. All right, let's see here. Brown for the wood here. Control S. Control S. I'm probably going to do like a very light olive green for his shirt. And I might put some I need to find, let's see here. Yes, Kenny, this is the Wizard of Oz theme deck. This is the Scarecrow that I'm currently working on. There we go. All right, let's do that olive green for the shirt. Let's see. A little more yellow, a little lighter, a little more desaturated. Yep, that's good. Boom, 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 boom. So, yeah. So I'm just, for anybody that's just joining, I'm just blocking in the base colors for this Scarecrow image. And then once I get the base colors, I will then start doing the simple kind of like shading and modeling and start putting kind of like that painterly elements on top. And I'll probably get rid of that gray background so that I can see everything on my card background to see how everything is, how all the colors and stuff are going together and such. Sorry, I'm quiet now. Just concentrating, I guess. My daughters have woken up because I can hear them walking around upstairs. That's okay. I really like the color of this shirt. It's going to be cool once I put like a texture like a fabric texture over the top of it. It's going to be real nice. It's interesting. I love colors. I mean, obviously because I'm an artist, I guess, but I love colors, and all of my daughters are named after colors. You know, Claire is technically clear, but I kind of associate Claire with blue, and then Scarlet obviously is red, my favorite color, scarlet red, and then olive is kind of an olive green. All right, I'm just checking to see if I forgot anything, which I did. These buttons. Let's do complementary color of green is red. So let's do like a desaturated red. Boom. Make it nice and pop. Complementary colors, same saturation, same value. Looks real nice. Okay. So as you can notice, let's do this. Let's use that same Kenny, this, you ask, is there a set release date for this deck to the public? This is the, hopefully, if I can get it finished and produced, this is going to be the January, February, March. This is going to be the March subscription, King's Wild Short subscription deck. So it'll be released to the subscribers in March, if all goes well. But in terms of, so that would mean if you're not a subscriber, it will be released to the public in April. All right, I'm just checking to see if I missed anything. I missed his patch, and let's see here. I missed his patch and this elbow. Okay, and also I got lazy with the green there. And then let's see his patch. Let's do like an orange because it's in the family of red, and red is the complementary color of green. But we'll push it orange a little bit, give a nice little piece of color over there. Make sure it's still desaturated because we don't want to unbalance the saturation here. Make it all fit nice. Okay. I'm just looking to see if I missed anything. As you can see, I did everything just did one side, because then now I'm going to take all the colors. I'm going to start selecting all the color layers. Let me see. This is the line drawing. Let's see. All right. That's all my color layers. And I'm just going to duplicate the color layers. I'm going to grab my dummy layer at the bottom and rotate it over. Just like that. Boom. Looking good. Looking real good. All right. What time is it? 7 o'clock. 2 hours in. Feeling good about it. I'm going to go. I'm going to take a quick restroom break. Don't leave. I'll be right back. I just have to go to the bathroom. And I'm back. All right. So I've done the line work, I've done the base colors, and now this is the final step to my process. This is where I just kind of go back and color everything. So I'm going to get rid of this background gray layer that I've been using. And then you can kind of see it already on the background. So the first thing that I'm going to do is let's see if I've got, let's see, open this Tin Man up. So notice how I'm gonna duplicate this again. Yes, I know this is a King of Clubs as well, but I'm gonna end up changing the Tin Man to the King of Hearts. Copy, paste. All right, so you can see here, this is this is just the style that I'm doing this deck in. Very kind of painterly, illustrative, kind of children's book-esque. And you can see I have this kind of darker kind of drop shadow with a little white line. So I'm going to go ahead and rough that in. That's going to help. That's going to kind of help pop him off the background a little bit better. Let me just organize some stuff here. I'm going to put this in that layer. I'm going to color this layer orange so I can see it. Make sure that that's everything. I'm going to take, what is all this stuff? Let's see if I see it. Delete. Okay. So here is my drawing. I'm going to go underneath that drawing. Now, the brush that I'm using, I made this brush. It's a cool. It's pretty interesting. Let me show you. It kind of has a. You can see here, like it has like this painterly. Like if I just go like this, it's got this cool texture into it. And the lighter I push, the more you can kind of see that texture. But the cool thing is I can keep going over it and that texture gets a little bit darker. And what I like about that is, you know, it's not 100% solid. It gives it some life. You know, there's some texture into it. So that's kind of the brush that I'm using, and it also kind of give it a little bit of a. It's just not a hard brush or a feathered brush. I work with a pen tablet, Enzo. So notice how I've got this little layer here, right here. I'm going to make it about the same width, and so I'm just going to come in here. Let's see. I'm going to select this color here. And then I'm just going to go and then outline, kind of outline the drawing like this. This is just a stylistic thing that I'm doing. One of my favorite artists, his name is Drew Struzan. He's the guy that did all the like Star Wars movie posters, the like Indiana Jones movie posters. He's done tons of movie posters. He's probably the most prolific cinematic movie poster artist out there. He did all the Harry Potters. I mean, tons of stuff. He does something similar to this where he has like these kind of like, you know, these illustrative drop shadows. I can even show you what I'm talking about because we're on the internet. Well, I better not because I don't want to get dinged with some kind of copyright thing. So I'm just going to bring down the opacity a little bit right there. And I'm just going to outline this. Really don't need to outline the whole thing. All right. Let's see. Looking good. Trying to keep it nice and loose to give it that kind of hand-drawn, painterly feel. I'm not trying to be too exact. I want it to be loose. What got me Kenny asked what got me into designing playing cards. You know what? Honestly, when I did my first deck of cards, I really didn't think about it very much. I did my original Kickstarters just to earn some extra money, to pay off some debt and stuff. But in terms of what got me into playing cards, I literally saw a playing card project on Kickstarter, and I was like, hey, I can do that. Let's try doing a deck of cards. And that's literally what got me into playing cards. And I haven't done anything else since. All right. All right. So there we go. I'm going to delete the bottom half of this because I don't need it. I'm going to duplicate it. And I'm going to rotate it. Good. Now I'm going to merge these two. There we go. Well, I appreciate that, Kenny. So now we got that little holding line. And as you can see, if I go back and turn it on and off, you can see that already, it's an illustrative element, but you can see that little element already pops him off the card a little bit. And now as you can see here in the Tin Man, you can see this little white holding line, and that's just a stylistic thing. And so now I'm going to go back and create that simple holding line using white on a overlay transfer mode. And this is very, very subtle. Most of the time you're not going to be able to see it anyways, but it's a very subtle thing, very subtle stylistic thing. But it's just one thing that I like doing, just to give it that, just multiple layers. Doesn't have to be perfect. You know what? I should just do one side over here. Let's do one side. Okay. All right. I forgot this area in here, so I need to go back and paint that in there. All right. So now I'm going to take that layer, duplicate it, and rotate it. Now I'm going to merge those, put them on overlay, and bring them down a little bit. All right, Control S, save. Let me do this over here. Boom, boom. All right, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to start coloring. I'm gonna get this guy out of here so I don't look at him anymore. Now I'm just gonna start coloring. What you'll see me do is I'm gonna work very quickly just because I find it usually yields a better product. Well, whatever. I usually like the way it, if I keep working quickly, it helps me not get too rigid, and it ends up creating a more whimsical, kind of less stiff image. So what you're going to see me do is I'm going to paint two levels. I've got the base color here. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the whole thing, and I'm going to paint a shadow layer where I just paint in shadows. And then I'll go back and blur it a little bit and kind of give it some painterly edges. And then you'll see me go back after I've painted the shadow layer, and then I'm going to paint a highlight layer, which is just kind of like the lighter values, and I'll do the same thing. And then once I paint the shadow and highlight layers, the drawing will pretty much be, I would say, 85 to 90% finished. And then once I have the shadow layer and the highlight layer all kind of dialed in, then I'll do a few different like little, finishing touches, put some textures on it, and then I'll be done. It's 7:15. I totally think I could do it like in 45 more minutes. Yeah. All right. So what I'm going to do is make sure there's my, okay. I'm going to go right underneath my line drawing. I'm going to put this layer on multiply. I got my big brush, this big brush that I like. Then I'm just going to start with certain sections. I'm going to start with this shirt, and I'm basically just going to come in here and then quickly rough in a shadow. And I'm thinking that my light source is up and to the right. So I'm just going to quickly rough in, and I can go back and clean it up when I need to. I don't want it to be, if I try to sit here and try to make everything perfect, then I'll never get done. I'm just going to rough in the shadows, the dark areas. Mostly all of this collar and stuff is going to be in shadow. See. Okay, the shadow on this arm. Shadow from that button. Good. Now I'm just going to erase the parts that was messy, just as I see them. Any blatant stuff. Looking good. All right. Now I'm going to take, I have a blur brush. Let me see here where to put it. Smudge Brush. And I have a brush that I made for this Smudge Brush. Let me just find it here. And it does a good job of creating like a, here it is. And it's basically You can see it. It's just like a bunch of little circles. And then what I'm going to do is just go in here and quickly, let me turn my power up a little bit, strength 61%. And then what I'm going to do now is just, I'm going to come in here and use this smudge brush with these little bristles, and it kind of gives it a paintbrush feel. And it also kind of breaks up these edges. But it gives it kind of a painterly feel, which I really like, and which I know that ends up being really nice in the end. Zoom out a little bit here. And this is just really me just pushing and pulling. Erase some of this right here on the edge. Okay, I'm going to put Bob Ross. I love Bob Ross. I'm going to put all these color layers into a new sub-layer just so I can, when I'm finished, I can get everything over. All right, let's do his face. Go here. Just talking to myself, peeps. All right, so he's going to have a shadow down here under his lip, under his nose, in his eye sockets. Under his cheekbones, behind his, under his chin line, up under his hair or the straw. And he's going to have a shadow up right here under the hat. The bottom of his chin. His jawline is going to have a shadow like that. Most of this is going to be in shadow here. I'll go ahead and paint over the rope because I can use that same brown like that. Let me see here. Then I'll take my smudge brush and if you're saying to yourself, wow, that looks really messy and loose, it absolutely does. And that's the way I like it. And you'll see that at the very end, even though on this kind of zoomed in level, it may look strange, but in the end, it will really look nice. A little bit right here. How long do I spend on one deck? Well, it definitely depends on how inspired I am on that deck. But, you know, I mean, I've done a deck in a day, like 24 hours. But for something like this where I'm drawing all the court cards and all the court cards are unique. You know, this may take a few weeks of actual work time. You know, I mean, honestly, this deck will probably be, you know, if you total all the work time, it'd probably be a good 5-6 days of total work time, I'm guessing. Because like this card, you know, I've been doing this since 5, so it's 5, 6, 7, 7:23. So this is taking me a couple hours, and I probably have another hour left on it. So I can just kind of give you an idea. I'm just kind of taking everything that's kind of a brown color, and just because I'm painting a brown color right now, I'm just go ahead and painting the shadow layers on the things that are kind of a brownish color, just because I've got that color selected at the moment. Let's see if it'll work for the staff. Yeah, that'll work for the staff as well. So I'll go ahead and put the shadow layers on the staff, or his walking stick. Okay. Feeling good about that. I feel like it's going to be too dark on that straw. All right, so I'm going to take my smudge tool again and go back and just break up these edges. Just break up these edges here a little bit at a time. Now when I'm smudging this staff, I'm just going to try to make sure that my smudge directions are in the direction of the wood grain, and then I'll just kind of help keep the form of that staff a little bit better. So as I'm, smudging this stuff, I'm just making sure that I go in the direction of that kind of spiral wood grain. All right, let me look at it. Looking good. Control S for the love. Okay, go stretch. All right, so let's go to the overalls. Let's select this blue color. Let's go a little bit darker here. And then let's go painting the shadows there. I'm gonna make this a new layer. All right, let me just make sure. Okay, new layer, multiply. That way I don't mess up any of my other layers. Let's clean it up a little bit. Like that. Right there. Get my smudge tool. Break these shapes up. Okay, good. Just put this right in here. Break that up a little bit. Okay, Control S. All right, let's do the hat. Let's make a new layer, multiply. Let's select this hat color a little bit darker. All right. Let's see, let's see, I'm gonna make a selection here. Yep, let's do that, make it easier. Now, it's not too late to sign up for the Gilded subscription for 2021. Never too late, only if we have the slots, but I'm not sure if we have. I don't know. I think we might be sold out. But if we are sold out, you can definitely get a standard subscription if you really want. On this shadow layer, I'm trying to make sure that, generally speaking, the direction of these paintbrush strokes are going in that same direction as the hat. And that'll just kind of help keep that shape. It'll just help keep that shape a little bit better. I don't know if that makes sense. Sam asks, any chance the limited editions will have more slots? We have been talking about it. We added another 75 slots, but those sold out really quick. And so that kind of shows us just there's enough people to warrant that want a slot. Now, let me just get back to this. You'll notice that I'm smudging this layer, and I'm trying to do it in the direction of the hat just to keep the form of that hat. But going back to the subscription thing, the LTD slots sold out pretty quickly when we released the extra 75 slots, as well as the gilded ones. So we are thinking about adding some more because it seems like there's enough demand for it. Bring down the opacity a little bit on that. All right, that feels good. Let me do this top part. Excuse me. And then, okay, it feels good. Just erase this smidge there. All right, let's see here. Okay, feeling good. Save that. All right, I got a few more to do. Let's do these straw. Let's do the straw elements. Make a new layer, multiply. Let's pick that straw color. Let's go a little bit. There we go. What happened? Oh, what happened? I pushed something. All right, let's get back to it. Okay, good. All right, feeling good, looking good. Just trying to get everything in there. Okay, let's take a look at it. All right. Okay, so now that I've done, well, let me get this. I got these two more things here. Let me just knock out these red parts. And then we can start the highlight layer. All right, Control S. Now what I'm going to do is very similar to the shadow layer. I'm just going to do the opposite and do a highlight layer and put it on over, make a new layer on overlay. And the good thing about the highlight layer is it's easier because I can just do white over the whole thing, and it usually pretty much works. So basically, it's just me going in, bring the opacity down a little bit, and just me hitting the areas that have a highlight. Notice I'm just keeping it really, really loose, trying to not take too much time on any specific spot. I don't want to get it too stiff. If you hear that, if you hear my keyboard clicking, that's just me. That's just me changing the size of my brush. Just see if I was missing any spots that I want to make sure I get. Okay, hit that right there. now. Let's see here. I totally forgot about this patch. Okay, now I do the same thing where I take my smudge tool and just go back and break these shapes up a little bit. All right, hit this staff a little bit. All right, looking good. Control S. All right, so I've done my highlight, I've done my shadow layer, I've done my highlight layer. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back on top and do one more shadow layer and one more highlight layer just to emphasize specific parts, just to really make it pop. Also to do, and then I'll probably do, at the very, very end, I'll probably do like a cast shadow type layer just to really set everything together. So I'm going to make a new layer on multiply. And this time I'm going to use just a hard round edge brush. All right, so this is another shadow layer, and I'm just using this to a little bit darker. Let's go a little bit darker. Really just to like set some stuff back and to give it a little bit more, just to give it a little bit more punch and a little bit more depth. And this is just a hard-edged brush. I'm glad you guys are excited about it. I'm excited about it too. I'm having a lot of fun drawing this one. I have fun drawing them all. This is the Wizard of Oz deck, and this is the Scarecrow. Now I'm going to take this one bit at a time. So I'm going to go back and smudge these tools. I'm going to bring back the opacity a little bit. Bring it back just a smidge more. Flip it on and off. it does not automatically translate to the bottom half. Once I'm finished, I will take all the stuff that I've done to the top half and move it over to the bottom half. Good question, though. What other stories do I have planned? I've got the decks, the stories that I'm doing next year for the King's Wild Short subscription are Wizard of Oz. Well, I've got Sherlock Holmes, Wizard of Oz, Peter Pan, Alice in Wonderland, Count of Monte Cristo. Let's see what else. Dracula, I think, is going to be the Halloween. Dracula, and then Christmas Carol for December. And I may do a Iliad and the Odyssey, but that'll be like a 2-deck set that won't be part of the subscription. I may or may not do that. And then I've also got the Mistborn, which the Mistborn and Lord of the Rings are not. Yeah, Sherlock Holmes. Sherlock Holmes is January. I'll even show you guys the tuck case when I'm finished for Sherlock Holmes. Sherlock Holmes is January's deck. It looks awesome. Turned out great. All right, so I'm going to do another shadow layer on the head just to get everything nice. Why is that so muddy looking? There we go. All right, there we go. Go ahead and use this on the fingers because they're leather. All right, good. Okay, smudge tool, once again. My trusty old smudge tool. Break up these edges. I would like to do a Romeo and Juliet deck as well. I mean, that's easy. You got the Montagues, the Capulets. It's actually a good idea. Got plenty of characters. You got Romeo, you got Juliet, Mercutio. Yep. You got the queen. You got the mothers. You got the two mothers. Problem with all that kind of stuff is usually it's hard to find like female characters to be the queens. I find that a lot, especially with like classic literature. They just didn't have as many female characters. All right, let's see here. All right, let's do another shadow layer. We're getting really close to being finished. I'm going to do another shadow layer on the hat, but I want to do it this color. Let's go a little bit darker. Yeah, that's good. I'll go clean this up a little bit. Mercutio. What is it? I used to know. If I profane with mine worthiest hand, my lips to blushing pilgrims ready stand to smooth the rough touch with a tender kiss. Excerpt from Romeo and Juliet. Let's see here. All right, let's bring that opacity back. The Beowulf deck has not necessarily been released to the public, to non-subscribers yet. That will be in the next couple of months. The book theme decks are all going to be like this one and the other one, Wizard of Oz, Peter Pan. All those are going to be available via the Kingswald Shorts playing card subscription. And then if you don't have a subscription, the standard editions will be available to the public once they've been released. Oh, don't forget this. Don't forget up here. All right, just checking over things, looking real good. All right, now what I'm going to do is do a last pass. This is probably my last pass here before I do like the final textures. I'm going to do a final run by of kind of a highlight layer. And this is just going to be more for form. And I do it really bright so I can really see it in the beginning. Then I'll go back and tone it down a little bit. But this is for like edges. So like you'll see like the top of this hat. I'm going to hit these top edges to kind of reinforce the shapes. And this will give it a little bit of extra pop as well. Just kind of going here, roughing it in. And as you've seen already, I'll go back then and give it a little smudgy smudge. The smudge tool. Feel good about that. Looking good. I don't know. I don't know when we would add. I'm not sure. All right. I'm just going through and breaking up these. Okay. Oh, too much. Bring it back up a little bit. Right about there. Oops, forgot this part. Okay, good. All right, just don't want to forget anything. Feeling good. I like it. Okay. All right, I'm gonna do one thing on the staff. I'm gonna add an extra shadow layer. Staff's feeling a little bit kind of flat. So I'm just gonna add a very simple shadow layer over the top just to reinforce the shape. Also give it some shadow. All right. Just trying to think about the forms of the staff itself. All right, let's take our smudge tool. All right, good. Okay, I'm going to bring down the opacity of that shadow layer. It's a little bit heavy-handed. Now, the last thing I'm going to do is itch my eye, and then I'm going to put this on the very top, and it's going to be a cast shadow layer. So I'm thinking is my light source is coming from the top right, and this is just going to be a big overarching cast shadow layer that will go over everything. And I will change the color in a little bit. So we're going to have the shadow of his head coming like this. Just bear with me. It looks weird at the beginning. So it's the cast shadow of his head. It's not going to hit the top of that. This will have a cast shadow under his chin. All this will be cast. All this will be dark in here. This will all be dark. Coming down here, this will all be dark in shadow. This in here. Back in here. Down in here. Okay, let me just clean it up a little bit. This will be in shadow. And also, I don't like that blue over that brown color, so I'll probably end up changing that. This will all be cast. All right, now let's bring it back a wee bit. Bring it back a wee bit. Right about there. Let's get our smudge tool. Get that knocked in. Very nice. Okay. Good. Now, I can pop that on and off, and you can kind of see what it does. So there's on, off, on. Just gives it a little bit more form. Let's do one for the hat. I don't want it to be blue, though. That blue was making it feel a little muddy. Okay. All right. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do now is Control, Save. Now, I'm going to move my microphone here. I'm going to take this whole layer. That's all of my coloring. I'm going to duplicate it. And then I'm going to rotate it. Now I've got my coloring. Control, Save. Now the last thing I'm going to do, and I'll show you, on the Tin Man, you can see, actually, the funny thing is, as I do, I do this all the time, but as I go further and further, I'm going to do one thing first while I'm thinking about it. I'm going to delete this. I'm going to bring back this shadow layer a little bit. It's just a little heavy-handed as well. This one as well. Okay. Like as I go along. Oops, where'd it go? Oops, I deleted my base layer. Just do this again. Sorry. Oops. As I go along, early on, I'm kind of finding my way through, and like I'm looking at this Tin Man. They're not both King of Clubs. I originally did the Tin Man a King of Clubs, but I'm going to make him the King of Hearts because he was, because he got a heart from the wizard. But like looking at this compared to the Scarecrow, the Scarecrow has a little bit more depth and painterliness to him, which I like. And so I'll probably end up going back and kind of tweaking this one a little bit to kind of make it a little bit more painterly and give it a little bit more depth. So, but one thing I like is if you notice on the Tin Man, he's kind of got this dot pattern, and that just kind of goes with the background, kind of like the illustrativeness to it. I'm going to go in and add, the last thing I'm going to do is add just some extra textures on top just to give it a little bit of oomph at the very end. So I've got me some brushes for this that I've made. Let's see here. I think it's this one. Let me see if that's the same. Nope. I'm guessing it's a little bit bigger. Yes, that one. So I'm going to take the denim, the blue stuff, and I'm going to give it this dot pattern. I'm just going to rough it in first. And this is nothing more than a stylistic choice. I kind of want it to feel, I kind of want to give it a little bit of a kind of construction paper, feel to it, or like it's a collage of some sort, just to give it just a little bit of texture on it. So I'm going to bring that back a little bit. And see, I mean, you're not going to be able to notice it much, but that little dot pattern just adds a little bit of depth, to it that I like. So I'm going to duplicate that around. And let's see here. Duplicate those dots to the bottom. And then for the let's see here. Let me just go here. I want to find like a texture, a good fabric texture. Let's try green plaid. How do you spell plaid? All right, let's see here. I like this. This is nice. That's nice. I like that. But let me see. I like this one. I like those colors a bit better. All right, I'm going to take this off screen so I can sign in. So I'm going to purchase this stock image here. I don't want EPS. Download image, confirm download. And we're going to go save that. Notice how I'm paying for my stock images. I'm not just pulling from Google, because that would be not very good. All right, let's see here. Wizard of Oz. I'm just saving this. Sorry, people. And we're going to call this green plaid. Green plaid. And then I'm going to open it up. Let's see here. Open. Where you at? Open with Poto Hops. Okay. I'm just going to select all. Actually, I'm just going to make a pattern of this. Just make it a little bit bigger first. Let's see here. Let me get my crop tool. Bring it out. Make it bigger. Let me fill this black. Let's hope it tessellates. It does. Okay. That's good. Oops. Okay, go one more time with it. Okay. Good. I'm just going to take this plaid. It's going to be super subtle. It's huge. All right, I'm going to bring it, let me scale it down to about right there. Maybe a little bit more. Just like that. And then I'm going to put this, let's try overlay. Let's try multiply. Overlay. Overlay is a little bit, let me see if I bring it down the opacity a little bit. All right, I'm going to go multiply just to begin with. I'm going to create a new mask. I'm going to fill it with black so it makes that plaid disappear. And then I'm going to come in here. Oops. I'm going to come in here and paint the plaid back onto the shirt. And this is kind of going back to that thing I was talking about where I wanted to give it kind of like a collage feel or kind of a children's book illustration feel. I'll just kind of put it anywhere where it's the green fabric. And this is going to be, I'm going to bring it back way back so you can like barely even see it. So it'll be a very subtle thing, but it'll just give it a little bit more depth, and it'll kind of bring the whole thing together. It'll give it more of a finished feel to it, I think. And also gives you kind of variety in hues and values in that green, which I think is good. And it'll also help set the green of the shirt off from the very emeraldy green background. And I might do this as well with like a burlap texture on his face, just to give his face a little bit of pop. All right, let me see here. Yes. So now I'm going to bring it back in opacity a smidge. Just like that. It's not much, it's subtle, but I think it adds a nice layer of complexity to it, which it's all about layers. Let me go apply, rotate it. Okay, good. Control S. All right, let's see here. Where did my iStock? Where is it at? Did I close it? I think I closed it. Let's go back to iStock. Okay, now let's go burlap. I already have a burlap texture, but I'm too lazy to go find it. Let's see what we come up with. I like this one. It looks nice. This is also nice. I like that a lot. It's a nice texture. This is very nice. I like that. That's tasty. Let's see. This is very nice. Might be a little bit too dark. Ooh, what's this? That's nice. All right, let's go back. Okay. I like this one. Let's download this image. Confirm download. Wizard of Oz. We'll call this burlap texture. Okay, good. Let's go back to our boy. Open. Burlap texture. Boom. Copy all. Paste. Let's scale it down a little bit. Right there. We don't want it too small because we're going to lose the detail anyways when it prints at size. Let's put that on multiply. Let's look at that. Look at that. That's going to be awesome. All right, so I'm going to do the same thing, make a mask, make it invisible, and then I'm going to paint the burlap texture back into the face like this. So all the areas that are burlap, I'm just going to paint that right on top. It's all about textures. It's all about layering. It's all about the story that you're telling. What time is it? 8:15. Doing good. Doing good. Doing good. All right. Get that in there. So what does it look like on the hat? I may want to do something on the hat, but I don't want to do the same texture. I don't want to do the same texture. Because then that would be me saying that the hat and the burlap are the same texture, and that's not what I want. That's not what I'm going for. All right, let's bring it back a little bit in opacity. Looking nice. All right, let's go back. Let's find a texture that I can use for the hat. Let's do, these are going to be very similar. What about the hands? The hands aren't burlap. The hands are like leather gloves. Now I could put a leather texture on it, but I think that's going to be so small that it's not going to really even matter. Okay. Let's do straw weave. Just see what I get. Ooh, I like this. I like that a lot. That's really nice. I like that. Let's see what else we got, just to make sure. That's nice as well. That's nice. Super nice. Too much. Too much. Okay. Okay. Let's do this. I think that, yeah, that's going to be nice. Now there was another one. I like this one because it's got more variation in color. Let's do this one. Let's go extra large. Download this image. Confirm download. Let's go straw hat texture. Okay. Puddle hops. Open. Where's my straw hat? Straw hat texture. Boom. Oh, that's so cool. I like that. This is going to be great. Super excited about this. Let's scale it down a little bit. About right there. Put it over the hat. Oh, I'm going to like this a lot, I think. Come on. That's great. Let's just find a transfer mode that's nice. His hands are not burlap. People, relax. I'll put a leather texture over it just to make you guys happy. Let's bring down the saturation a little bit. Okay. Bring up the lightness. Awesome. All right, let's make a mask. Fill in the mask. And then let's paint that straw texture back into the hat. Now, some of you are probably saying, well, hey, guys, Jackson, the perspective of the burlap and the perspective of the straw weave do not match the form of the hat. Yes, I know that. This kind of technique of putting a texture two-dimensionally flat over a three-dimensionally modeled surface is a very old stylistic technique that was done a lot. You can see it, especially like in the 50s and 60s, where you'd have somebody's shirt and they would just have lines that are just flat lines over the top of the form. And I think it's the reason why I'm doing it is to like further kind of amplify that idea that it's like a collage or a children's book illustration where you're taking like different materials, cutting them out of paper. I don't know. It's just what I got in my head, and that's kind of what I'm doing. And so that's just to answer your question. All right. That looks great. I love that. Bring down the opacity a smidge. All right. Let me get these two things while I'm thinking about it and duplicate them. And okay, and then let's see here. Oh yeah, you guys wanted me to do the gloves. Yar. Let's do leather. Leather texture. Let's see here. I've already got that one. I think that's the leather I used for Robin Hood. Let's do that. Why buy another one when I got a good leather texture already? Let's find the Robin Hood folder. Where'd I put that? King's Wallet Shorts. Robin Hood. Leather. Where'd I put that leather texture? I do not remember. All right, fine. Why did I close that once again? All right, let's see here. Leather texture, misspelled texture. All right, let's get one that's really, I like this one. I like that one. That's a good one. Excuse me. Ooh, I like this one. I like those cracks. Let's do that one. Download image. Confirm download. We'll go leather texture. Open. Leather texture. Copy. Paste. Done. Ship it. Ship it. Okay, we'll go here. See if I can. Yep. Let's go. Let's see. Multiply is too dark. Darken. Let's just try. Let's try that. Let's see what that looks like. That might work. I like that color that it puts over the whole thing. Ooh, I like that a lot. Make a layer mask. Fill it in. Okay, let's paint that leather texture. Where did I put my pen? There it is. Okay, let's paint that in here. I got to use the right color though. Bring down the opacity. All right. It's a little bit saturated, but that's okay. I can bring down the saturation. I can bring down the saturation when I'm finished. Okay, good. Let's bring down the opacity a little bit. Actually, let's bring down the saturation. Okay, or not. Do what I say, computer. There we go. Bring down the saturation. Let's bring it back up, and we're good. Okay, I'm going to duplicate that. I'm going to rotate it 180 degrees. All right, let me just give it a once over. Let's see if I forgotten something or misplaced something. I don't think I have. Control S. So I'm pretty much finished with this. And so what I would do now is, what time is it? 8:20. Last thing I'll do is just kind of show you how I mock it up. So I've got it saved. I'm going to, let's see. I'm going to duplicate the image. Okay. So I don't want to mess with my good one. I'm going to make a new shape that's the size of a playing card. Right on top. Conk. Just like that. And then I'm going to make my die line invisible. And then I'm going to merge visible. I'm going to do a quick unsharpened mask. It'll tighten up everything a little bit. It'll also bring out that texture. Okay. And then I'm going to take this layer, that's that playing card shape, select it, and then I'm going to bring off. So now what I've got is a playing card. A playing card. And so I've got my photographs that we took, my template photographs that we took for this project. So I'm going to go to blank. Where's it at? Product shots. Product shots, too many folders. Product shots, blank card templates, Wizard of Oz. And then, let's see, we'll go with, let's see, this one. There's our Wizard of Oz blank card template. You got the little thing there. We'll go back to, let's get rid of this. Get rid of that. Go away. Go away, Tin Man. Go away, leather. All right, so I'm going to get that card. Copy. Select all. Copy. Go to my card template. Boom. Paste it. Ship it. Done. I'm just going to make this card a little bit smaller here because it's obviously too big at the moment. Okay. About yay big. Bring down the opacity a little bit here. Rotate it. Line it up with this dummy card that we got here. Scale it down a little bit more. Right about there. Skew the perspective. Match up these corners. Like that. Boom. Boom. And boom. There we go. We got a mock-up of the Scarecrow from the Wizard of Oz deck. And you'll probably see this on Instagram later today. Yeah, so that's basically you guys that were here this morning as I'm stretching at 5 for the first inaugural Dawn's Early Light session. You guys watch me go from nothing to create this Scarecrow. Let me see here. Let me change my cameras.
There I am. See, now I can turn my lights back on because it's not so early in the morning. Where's the switch? Where's the switch? There we go. So, you guys were here with me this morning. Super excited about how this one turned out. Really excited about it. I'm really excited about these Dawn's Early Lights. I'll be here tomorrow morning at 5 o'clock. I'll be doing, I think, the Cowardly Lion. I'm going to do the Cowardly Lion tomorrow. But, and if you missed it or you came in late, these are going to be on my YouTube anyway. So if you want to go back and watch it, they'll be there. So anyways, if you're not a subscriber to my YouTube channel, just hit the subscribe button and the little bell, whatever, so that you can be, because when I schedule these, it'll like give you a notification. But I'm really excited about this deck. I'm really excited about doing these Dawn's Early Lights. It's a good way for me to give myself kind of like the motivation to like really push through and try to finish a card all in one sitting, which is it's good for me, especially for this style. stylistically, it's straightforward enough that it's possible for me to finish one card in one sitting. It's not like that with all of my decks, but this one for sure. So, anyways, have a great day, everybody. Thanks a lot for everybody that's been with me the whole time. Thanks for anybody that came on later. And I'll see you tomorrow at 5 a.m. Eastern Time for the next Dawn's Early Light, where I'll be working on the Cowardly Lion. And then I'll just go back
to this to show you what we did. What we finished today. Well, if I can stop. There we go. That's what we did today. We did it together, people. Team Kings Wild, we did it together. Anyways, have a great day. I'll talk to you later. See ya. Oh, that's right. You guys wanted to see the Sherlock tuck, didn't you? All right, let me go get it. I'll be right back. Oh, yeah. Where are we at?
There, I'm back. I didn't leave yet. I hope you're still watching. All right, so this is, I can't remember. I think this is the standard edition. Look at that. Letterpressed, Clove Street Press. Look at that, Sherlock Holmes. See if I can get to focus. It's focusing on my eyes. There we go. Oops, upside down. Sherlock Holmes. Here's the back. Look at that, tasty. Okay. That's the standard. Well, that's the limited. I can't remember what this is. That's the standard edition. This is the limited edition. Slate gray with gunmetal gray ink and black foil. Clove Street Press printed this tuck case. Come on, don't focus on me. Stop it. There we go. Here's the back. Look at the embossing. Boom. Look at that embossing. Anyways, look at that. Ended it with the song. That's it, people. Have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow at 5. Peace.